Welcome to Remainders, where we talk about all the movies that remain. My name is Patrick. Today we're going to be talking about the 1986 classic The Fly as we continue our 80s horror remakes of 50s movies this October. We'll get to that in a minute. As always, having the pleasure to talk with Darren. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. It's a little early in the morning here in Los Angeles. I just woke up about a half an hour ago after working late last night, and I got to tell you, all summer long, I've had a fly problem. So this movie could not come at a better time for me.
Wow. All right. So you got a lot of aggression coming out in this movie. I'm sure it was an emotional and turmoil-filled viewing experience for you then. So.
All I'll say is that maggot scene, birthing a maggot, hit close to home.
Well, that's the thing about Cronenberg. You can always depend on a gross out scene that is impactful, but also just downright gross for its own sake. So very excited to hear your thoughts on this one. I know this one is kind of more of like a recent movie for you that you only saw for the first time in the last year or so.
Yeah, we talked about it last week. Yeah, this movie for sure is everyone out there is probably like, are you crazy? Are you stupid? You haven't seen it? Yes. Last year is the first time I saw The Fly.
Nobody's busting your balls, so.
Well, thank God, because I'm busting my own balls. Pretty stupid. I haven't seen that movie in that long, but glad I finally did last year, and it's cool because this is the second watch, and I appreciated it even more because I'm getting to look at it for more of the special effects now. Not just the story and stuff like that. And man, there's a lot of cool stuff to talk about in this film. I mean, it's right up both of our alleys. I think. I don't think I'd be guessing to say that you love this movie as much as I do.
This is a special movie. All three of these movies that we're covering, watched The Thing last week, Fly right now, and coming up next week with The Blob. All very special movies for me. Yeah, so I'm all at a young age. This was a Fox movie. This would be on Fox on like a Saturday afternoon, something like this, or The Predator would be on. So kind of discovering those movies in pieces as a kid. This one was always kind of special for me. And looking back, I know there was probably a lot of stuff cut out, so I know I didn't fully appreciate it till like maybe Suncoast days, but it was definitely left an imprint at a young age on me. So when I probably was watching maybe a little too young for it. So, but that's how I shaped into my horror hound self as an adult. So,
yeah, and I mean, let's just face it, it gets a little sizzling hot in this film. I mean, there's a lot of these guys are going at it pretty hot and heavy. Gina Davis and Jeff Goldblum are stars. So yeah, I bet you they cut some of that out of the Fox broadcast when you saw it as a kid.
Yeah, why not? That's why I had to wait around for HBO. So, but yes, if you haven't seen The Fly is a pretty simple movie. It's Seth Brundle playing. Ooh, look at this beautiful mug that Darren is just elating in front of us on YouTube right now, Killer Clown style.
Yes.
So.
Before you go into the synopsis of the film, because it's early, I get to showcase one of my newer coffee mugs that my girlfriend got for me last year, and I pull it out every October. It's a gigantic sized Killer Clowns from Outer Space coffee mug, which obviously a classic. We haven't covered it on this podcast yet, but I had to show it off.
Oh yeah, man. Was that at what's the Halloween pop-up every year?
Yeah, fucking Spirit Halloween.
Was that a Spirit Halloween fun?
Yeah, here's the thing is like that place is like nobody had Killer Clown stuff. They must have just recently in the last couple of years let up the copyright. Is it true? Okay, because I saw
no, sorry, I cut you off. Go on. What were you gonna say?
No, I just say they must have released the copyright in the last few years because they're selling tons of stuff. Like we were in the Spirit over here the other day, and they've got like a little life-size ray gun that they have, the popcorn gun. And I think I told you, or I probably talked about it a few podcasts ago, but 2 years ago at Universal Studios, they had a Killer Clowns from Outer Space haunted, basically attraction, the haunted house. And it was the coolest thing in the world. It was set up just like the tent and all that kind of stuff. Really, really cool. So yeah, I think they've been really selling, if you know what I mean.
Okay, so yeah, I actually don't know if it has anything to do with rights. I did notice the explosion of Killer Clown stuff like last year or maybe even 2 years ago, and I was surprised by it because growing up with that film, like you, it certainly wasn't always at the forefront of like film discussion or anything. No. So I don't know if it's just I don't know if it had anything to do with the rights and the merchandising, or if just society is caught up with it now.
Well, society's caught up with it, of course, and I think people like us are having podcasts and talking about it, and so I'm sure it's grown. But it is a true cult movie. I would say it's not a question. It's always been a cult movie, even from the time it was made. And I think the lure of it is that like you'd see it on HBO or something late at night, or like you're talking about with The Thing here that we're covering, what we covered last week, and then The Fly. Like if you see these on TV and you're not really supposed to, kind of thing, and you're a kid, they're kind of these stick with you.
Yeah, totally. No, yeah, it's definitely cool. I guess I just mean in terms of like merchandising. I'm just curious if 15 years ago, if the merchandise was there, that it would be selling like it is now. So
yeah, I would think not.
Who knows? Yeah. I mean, I'm all for it. I'm happy it's gained the notoriety that it serves. So we'll definitely cover it one day. There's no doubt about that. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, talking about The Fly this week, part 2 of our 80s remake. So this is a remake of the 50s Vincent Price movie, updated for 80s special effects. And of the time, it's basically a story of sickness, watching a loved one die of sickness. That's kind of like stepping back. It's like what this movie is about. Jeff Goldblum plays Seth Brundle. Scientist devises a new invention for teleporting and transporting items. He ends up in there with a fly, and we just watched this whole movie of him descending into sickness as he turns into a human fly. So pretty simple. Everybody's kind of familiar with where it goes. If you haven't seen it, it is a story of a man just descending into sickness. I think it's largely the appeal and the enduring aspect of this movie. That's why it's like connects home with so many people as like a tragedy rather than just watching like a gross out horror movie. And I'm curious kind of like what you kind of felt like that. I mean, this is like a Shakespearean tragedy. The last 20 minutes has always been an ending and a finale that has stuck with me ever since I was a kid.
Well, I hadn't really thought about it that way. First of all, like descending into sickness, of course, you're looking at it surface level as just like kind of a horror movie, right? And even the term, like kind of the more recent term of body horror.
Cronenberg's been pioneering body horror forever, though. So yeah,
right. So, but I haven't really been hearing people talk. It seems more of like a buzzword nowadays than anything. Especially when we covered the substance and everything, people calling that a body horror movie and everything. I hadn't really heard people like kind of talking about those movies that way. But that you come, especially seeing it not in the 80s. I saw it later, of course, and you're seeing it in a time when it's like, oh, The Fly, right? It's like Halloween time. Let's watch The Fly. It's he's going to turn into this fly. It's gross. It's and everything. But yeah, to put it under the lens of that, like just watching a man descend into sickness, it makes you realize like it's a lot deeper than just special effects and a scary movie.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of like the through line with these three 80s remakes is that they're all kind of originate from kind of surface level 50s horror movies, and then they're all kind of adapted to the times of the 80s. And this one specifically, Cronenberg had cancer in mind, basically watching a loved one, a person you love, die of cancer. It's just a slow descent into your body failing itself until it dies. I don't think it was his intention, but at the time in the 80s, AIDS is obviously like a huge epidemic as well. So that one definitely didn't go unnoticed. So it's essentially become a movie of watching somebody die of cancer or AIDS in the most gross possible way, rather than actually dying, turning into a fly. So,
I mean, absolutely. That's well said, because, all these things are growing and it's like foreign objects kind of. But also like it's a little science fiction, right? I mean, you've got the teleportation and all that kind of stuff, which it feels
totally.
It totally feels like you're watching sort of one of those War of the Worlds or like, sort of space age films. Just by the way, it's really only takes place in his apartment. I mean, other places show up, like the newspaper, and then when she goes to get an abortion later on. But like it's kind of a stage play in that way, where you're just watching it in his apartment. Or it is totally a studio.
Yeah. And his three characters comprise like 95% of the dialogue. Right. So it's 100% the stage play. And it is kind of like a short story just stretched out in the best possible way, where it's like the story and the unfolding events are pretty simple. They're just like one huge dramatic turn after another. And so, yeah, I think that's a great point, that it does have that stage play vibe. Maybe just before we kind of dive more into it, what was your relation with the original? How much? I know you're a big Vincent Price fan.
Huge Vincent Price fan, and I have seen the original, but a long time ago.
Okay.
This movie definitely has me being like, I need to do a rewatch. How about you?
I mean, it's a completely different movie, so yeah, I like it. Yeah, it's fun enough. I mean, if anybody's not familiar with it, it's certainly not a descent into sickness like this one. It's purely Vincent Price has his head switched with a fly. So he's just a small fly with the head of Vincent Price, and then a human body with the head of a fly. And
which is awesome in its own right. But yes, yeah.
So movie. It is awesome, but it is just like a simple 50s horror movie. So I wasn't sure like how special it is for you. So I do like it. It's got 2 sequels that I watched through because I have the box set, and definitely nothing special. So
you don't like the sequels to it then? I was wondering.
I mean, I didn't. They're the 2 sequels to the original movie. I do like the sequel to this movie, actually, even though that's been kind of like thrown away. We'll get to it. But yeah, they're just kind of throwaway 50s horror movies. So like I said, for me, all 3 of these, I like the 80s remake more than the original. The Blob is the only one where maybe I think a lot of people do kind of still prefer the original. We'll see how you feel about that one when you watch it. So but especially
I've seen the original. That's one of the ones that we're going to cover where I've seen the original, and I have not seen the one we're going to cover, the more recent version.
Yeah. So but yeah, maybe we can just dive into that.
Before we do, I just want to bring up one thing that happened yesterday. Drew Struzan, Drew Struzan. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but I in the news, Drew Struzan had passed away, and I wasn't completely aware of all of his work, but when I started to uncover, I was really blown away. And anybody listening to this surely knows his name. Poster artist, artist in his own right, just in general, but did a lot of the posters that we love. The Goonies, the one where they're on like that, kind of going downhill, or not downhill, but they're kind of descending into a cavern.
I think he did The Thing too.
And that's what I was about to say, because we covered The Thing.
Wow.
No, it's okay. But because we covered The Thing last week, and that is such a cool cover. Yeah, he passed away yesterday.
Yeah. Talk about a lost art.
Yeah.
Movie poster. I mean, just like, not just the fact that it's not done by hand anymore, but just the complexity and you had to really sell a movie by the poster back in the day. That's one thing that people don't realize, is like, or don't, kind of always forget. Like, oftentimes the poster was the only thing you ever saw before going into the movie. You weren't seeing trailers all the time. You weren't seeing commercials all the time. So the poster really had to sell
like 1980.
Yeah,
definitely
for sure.
And the other thing about that is that like think about the Star Wars posters and Indiana Jones and stuff like that. I mean, they're iconic. But maybe because it's from our era, but also maybe because they're just so good, and so they show all of the adventure right there in that poster.
Yeah. And now it's just photoshopped faces of the stars, and that's the extent of movie posters these days.
Well, maybe we're going to get way more back to that with AI taking over so much, because people definitely, I'm already seeing and feeling a lot more, at least art type of people, or people who are sick of the noise, wanting more originality out there. So maybe we'll go back.
Yeah,
I mean, theaters are kind of booming again in some ways, not to go on too much of a tangent, but like, some of these art house theaters are really doing a good job of curating now and making, it a place to go. And I think people needed that again, because they're realizing how much they enjoyed going to the theater. I mean, it's no surprise to us who love going to the theater, but I think other people who weren't. I mean, just one battle after another is I think a big win for the movie business that way.
Yeah, I'd say a lot of the drive for that was through the smaller theaters, Vista, Music Box, etc.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, there you go. The Thing poster art, Drew Struzan. Rest in peace.
Gone but not forgotten.
Never.
The Fly, produced by Mel Brooks, surprisingly, in Brooks Film Studios. It's always I
can see because it's so funny.
Yeah. He actually did produce the Elephant Man, David Lynch's movie, and notoriously left his name off the credits because he was like, I'm not going to fuck around with confusing the audience and to think they're watching a Mel Brooks film and then end up watching the Elephant Man.
So it wasn't because he thought it was shit. He just thought,
No, yeah, it's purely because, hey, my name elicits a certain type of idea, and this is definitely not the Elephant Man or the Fly. So
yeah, I don't want to be connected to it. By the way, just another thing on Drew Struzan. I'm sorry, it's a little early, so my mind is kind of bouncing. But I just want to say one thing.
We're in the middle of our coffee, so we're still finding our
yeah, exactly.
Rhythm, so.
And there was a post that because we're talking about theaters and everything like that, I guess Kevin Smith has opened his own theater in his hometown, like his hometown theater. Kind of did the same thing Tarantino did. And in there, he was saying that the Drew Struzan original for Mallrats, I guess the Mallrats poster was drawn by him. And he said, like, at one point, Drew decided to sell it to him for $35,000. And I thought it was kind of funny. It's like, that's a lot of money. And I'm sure it would have been more these days if he bought it. But also, like, Kevin Smith was like, I kind of got like, of course I'm going to pay the man,
Yeah.
Like, this guy's iconic. And like the fact that he even did our cover art is like amazing. So anyway, it's hanging in his theater and you can go see that. I thought that was like a cool little story to read in movie history.
Oh yeah. Where did you say his theater is? In Jersey?
I would think Jersey. I don't know exactly, but I would think Jersey since he's such a Jersey guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Love that. I guess that is kind of the world we're living in now. Everybody's going to open their primary theater. You have the boutique theaters and then the giant AMCs where you go if you need to see something like Tron, Ares.
And you want to watch people eat gigantic amounts of shit food like chicken tenders and chicken wings.
If you want to see,
go ahead.
If you want to see Tron Ares with a big bucket of chicken, AMC is your place.
Well, yeah, or coming soon, and I'm sure there's a countdown clock for it, but Avatar.
64 days. 64 days. Nice. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that on the top of my head. I wrote that down for our notes. It's not like I'm walking through my days knowing how many days it's until it's going out. So
could have fooled me.
Give me a little credit. So come on. So.
But yeah, that's it's an interesting thing too, to like, in the mornings, I'm just going to say this because it's weird. I've seen 2 segments on CBS News, like live and on TV. I don't have television here, so I don't have anything connected. I have Criterion, and basically I'll steal your Shutter when you give me the password back one day. But that's pretty much all I got. And HBO I steal from my girlfriend. No, I mean, we share an account. Anyway, what happens is when I'm at her house, I see this, like, she has the news on and it's like CBS News. And I've seen 2 really great features on CBS News 2 weeks in a row. One was on the Zombies, which I love the Zombies, the band, and about them and their career. And then and I was like, well, this was really good. Fucking CBS News. What the fuck? And then the second week, they did this whole expose on theaters coming back. And they did one with a sit down with Kevin Smith. And then they did a sit down with the person that owns Vidiot's over here in Eagle Rock. And I was like, damn, I'm like, what the fuck? And then maybe I'll just give another Los Feliz shout out over here. The guy who owned the Vista and sold it to Tarantino, but currently had owned the Los Feliz 3, which is another old theater here in town, passed away last week. So yeah, there's a lot going on in the air right now, theater wise, but just thought I'd mention that.
All right. CBS and TMZ. It's all you need. So.
Always TMZ. Always. I get everything that I need from that news, that great news source.
Yeah. Hey, I have come around. I mean, I'm not watching it, but I definitely support that being a primary source of news. So
I mean, what else? So. What else?
That's where I agree with you. What else are you going to watch?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Let's get back to The Fly. Okay. I just want to talk about this movie and how much I loved it the second time, and especially love seeing a young Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis.
Yeah.
I mean,
dating at this time. So
were they? Okay, so do you know anything about the casting of it, or were they relatively unknown at the time?
I mean, Goldblum was around for sure. He had been in stuff.
Gina Davis obviously pre A League of Their Own or Thelma and Louise.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, obviously no doubt it's just earlier in their career, but in terms of like how many big roles, I'm talking about Gina Davis at this point. She's been around. So
she definitely looks super young in this too. I mean, like younger than most roles I've seen her in, at least.
Yeah, not too many years. I mean, it looks like her first entry in IMDb was Tootsie, actually in 1982. So only like 4 years before this movie. Couple small stuff, Family Ties, so nothing too big. She was in Fletch and Transylvania 5000, which I think also has Jeff Goldblum. That was the year before, and then The Fly in '86. So yeah, super early. This was 2 years before Beetlejuice. So 2 years after this, we have Beetlejuice.
But she looks pretty like the same as she does in Beetlejuice, I'd say.
Yeah. And Goldblum, I mean, he had been in like, he popped up in like, a couple early Woody Allen roles for him. I remember that. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. The Big Chill. So he had definitely been like a name, at least as a character actor. But yeah, I'd say this was kind of like the first big thing. I mean, a little bit of casting. Actually, he was by far not like the first choice. Mel Brooks actually wanted Pierce Brosnan. That was like his first choice. Cronenberg didn't want him. Malkovich was the top choice between the two, offered the role. He declined. John Lithgow also was offered the role and he declined. And so after that, I think even Michael Keaton's name was popped out, and then it ended up with Jeff Goldblum. So for as awesome as he is.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to say, I could see any of those actors in this role, actually. That's like the first time you've said and rambled off like names where I'm like, I could see them in that role.
Yeah, that's what's kind of, I mean, I fucking love Jeff Goldblum in this movie, but I could see it working with multiple different actors, like just like you're saying right there. It's not like it's like you couldn't imagine it in anybody else's role. I mean, for me, because I've seen it since I was a kid, it's like it's nothing but Jeff Goldblum, and he is awesome in it. But I could see how he wasn't necessarily the first choice. But Malkovich would have been wild.
I mean, Lithgow would have been perfect too. I
mean, Lithgow is always awesome, but watching Malkovich's intensity, I guess. But
yeah,
Lithgow would have brought a little bit of more. I don't know.
Well, maybe he was right for
sinister levity.
I mean, that kind of like play actor too. As you were talking about it, this is kind of a Shakespearean tragedy.
Yeah. And yeah, I think the fact that they were dating at the time, that's why there was some hesitancy to cast Gina Davis. But I think I heard after Cronenberg was working with her for a tiny bit, he was like, she's perfect for the part. So he's not going to let that get in the way. So I don't know gossip usually. I just know the fact that they were dating at the time. That's pretty much all I know. You got to give me the TMZ updates, even though this was 40 years ago. So,
I mean, we can get into another person who passed away, Diane Keaton, and all the people that she has dated that she's worked with. I mean, yeah, totally. Rest in peace, dude. I love Annie Hall. I love fucking Kay and The Godfather. Get the fuck out of here, Kay. It's like, God damn it. Getting a little emotional talking about it. I mean, this was Al Pacino's The One That Got Away, from all the headlines that I'm seeing on TMZ. He's been coming out and saying I should have married her, and Woody Allen coming out and praising her, and a supporter of Woody Allen, by the way, one of the only few in Hollywood that were had his back through all of his troubles. So, and she's in so many Woody Allen films. I believe Sleeper, anyway, she passed away. That's a huge name, huge artist in our time being alive, watching movies.
Yeah, 2025 has been kind of kicking the balls to classic Hollywood. So,
dude, really,
it feels like every other episode we're kind of mourning somebody. So celebrate. I should say we're not mourning. We're celebrating their lives. So yes. I
mean, if I wake up and then I hear Jack Nicholson passed away, I'm not doing this podcast anymore.
That's where you put your foot down?
Yeah, Jack Nicholson crying out loud.
Howard Shore.
Oh yeah, great score. Great score.
My God, like coming to terms with like, I mean, I remember liking and like being enamored with this score as a kid, but then like as an adult, understanding Howard Shore's importance, obviously, like for me, like the Lord of the Rings soundtrack. You hear like it's just so much of the movie is elevated so strongly by his score, especially those last 20 minutes where it really leans into that tragedy aspect. Like
1000%. I noticed it the most at the end of the movie, where it's like, yeah, it really came into play as a character itself. It's so cool lately. I've been hearing a lot more about scores and people talking about them, especially again, one thing after another. That has such a unique score. And then you started to think about, I saw the Jaws exhibit that we talked about, and you start to think about how much that score, John Williams score, means to that movie. Kind of what you were saying about the poster, like talk about after, the movie is in your mind, like the John Williams stuff, like, are you whistling the theme song of Indiana Jones? Like when you think about it, absolutely. Are you going dun dun dun? I mean, even when like something is kind of like scary or it's like around the corner, it's gonna like fuck with you. You're like dun 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 dun. Pretty cool. I wouldn't say that Howard Shore necessarily has any like ones that people think of that way, but when you go through his filmography, I mean, The Fly is amazing, but then the Lord of the Rings stuff. I mean, he's responsible for all of the Lord of the Rings score and countless others. I mean, we can go on and on. Great composer. I think he's not talked about as much as he should be in the big names in Hollywood.
No, I wouldn't think so. I mean, he's definitely in the Lord of the Rings world. He's definitely seen as a god. But you're right. I guess in just general film, his name doesn't quite come up as much. So.
Well, there's other ones, that are not here anymore, like Ennio Morricone or Maurice Jarre, that are just classic composers. Bernard Herrmann, I can't believe I forgot to say that. When you think of film composers, I don't think Howard Shore is necessarily like one of the first that comes to your mind.
Should be, though. Yeah. Worked with Cronenberg quite a bit, actually. So
James Newton Howard is such a fucking legend as well, and working with Shyamalan on all of those really, really great movies, especially Signs. I love his score for Signs.
Howard Shore also did the other Cronenberg movie that we covered, A History of Violence.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So this is our second Cronenberg movie. Pretty officially my two favorite Cronenbergs. So that's why I'm excited to get to talk about this one. That's why like A History of Violence is a little bit different outside of his normal body horror vibe. And this one's 100% right down the center with that.
Oh, so yeah. I was going to say A History of Violence doesn't have anything really. I mean, there's a few shots.
There's violence for sure, but not in the traditional Cronenberg way, I guess. But yeah, so that's why I'm excited. Criterion will be having their flash sale next week, so I am going to pick up that new History of Violence 4K that I haven't gotten yet. Just I meant released,
to tell you, so. I have a $15 gift certificate. I think it works with sales too. I got to send that to you.
All right, kick ass, man.
Yeah, save you a little cash, bro. Come on,
chipping your way to using all the streaming services. Love it. So,
I mean, for sure. But I'll tell you what. This movie also is, I think, a cult classic too. Would you say so?
It was pretty successful at the time. So, yeah, I mean, I can see where it has a cult classic vibe, but it was pretty successful at the time. Like critically, it was liked. It did pretty well at the box office. Won the Academy Award for best makeup.
Okay, cult status is out the window.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you, but also
it feels like a cult.
It does 100%. But also at the same time, just because it was successful at the time, sometimes movies are forgotten and then they're rediscovered. So that's kind of like a cult kind of trajectory as well. So and I feel like that's a little bit with this one. I don't feel like this one's talked about with younger people at least quite as much. And so it kind of is on that, skirting. I'm sure there are a lot of people who actually haven't seen this movie. So even though its tagline is something that everybody knows, but so many people don't even know that it was attributed to this. Be afraid, be very afraid. It's everybody knows that line, but a lot of people are like, I would have never guessed that it actually came from this movie. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I mean, for real, you're just
Gina Davis.
I didn't know. Yeah,
Gina Davis saying that it is on the poster, I believe. Yeah, I mean,
she tells that to like basically the street hustler girl that comes in, and he's like, as he's being superpower.
That's one of the funniest lines of the movie. He's like, "Oh, I forgot to tell you, I live with my mother too." So when she walks in,
yeah, totally, so good. I mean, there's a lot of fucking weird relationship stuff going on here too. I mean, Gina Davis's ex-boyfriend who just like happens to slip into her house and take a shower because he's like, I felt scummy. You know what?
Yeah, I know. So we can talk about John Getz a little bit. I've always liked John Getz. I mean, he was. The earliest thing I know him is he's the lead in the Coen Brothers' first movie, Blood Simple. He plays Ray with Frances McDormand, and he's kind of. I mean, he's essentially the lead of that movie. He basically was going to become a leading man. He just didn't. And so he kind of like has had a career of like playing these like kind of douchebags. Like he's the douchebag boyfriend in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
Wow. I couldn't place that when I was watching. That's
he's not like he's had like a huge career or like shown up in tons of stuff, but whenever I've seen him and stuff like growing up, like he's always like really effective, and he is great in this movie. And I love his trajectory because like, yeah, he's like the ex-boyfriend. He's Gina Davis's boss at the Particle magazine. Totally just comes off as like a douchebag, but also like just comfortable with himself as a douchebag. So that's like almost like charismatic in its own right. But then he's set up as the antagonist, the human antagonist at least, but then, you know, like he shows like empathy throughout the movie as he's still there for her as she's kind of going through this. So it's like, there is just like this weird trajectory where it's like he's set up to be the complete douchebag who's like going to be like Jeff Goldblum's downfall, but he's not really at all. And he actually shows empathy throughout the movie. So it's like, there's no like clear black or white throughout the whole movie.
They pace that pretty well though, because, you know, they show him watching like him doing the regurgitation stuff, which is obviously, you know, going to come back and bite him literally. But then when he sees that, I think he realizes how much danger she's in. And then she says, I'm pregnant. And he's like, oh, fuck. He would be like the biggest asshole in the world if he turned away and didn't help her then, you know?
So, yeah, I've always kind of like you were saying, like a three character stage play. It just does have a lot of character dynamics between the three of them that aren't always black or white. Because you have Jeff Goldblum, who is the protagonist of the movie or the empathetic lead character, but then you can't deny that he does go insane and becomes completely the destructor at the end of the movie. Like you can't at all.
But he tells you
empathize. He
tells you, I'm going to hurt you if you come by. He does warn it.
But like, it's just like, it's overtaken him to like this degree where like I'm going to hurt you if you don't come by. But he understands it. But by the end, he's basically trying to get Gina Davis and the baby to fuse with him in the telepod. It's like, it's just, I love that it's so like morally great throughout for all the characters.
Dude, so. I got to tell you, like that regurgitation stuff, fucking magic, man. You know, magic. It's the grossest shit. If my girlfriend would watch that, dude, she'd run out of the house. I mean, it's so good. I loved it so much. Yeah. Do you want to talk about special effects? I mean, I think that's like a huge character in this film, right?
I mean, that's the thing about this movie is the special effects are so good that it almost overshadows how good of a tragic love story this movie is, or how much of a tragedy it is. Because that's kind of the enduring aspect of it is that like how much watching the downfall of Jeff Goldblum and how much of a tragic story it is one of the most powerful aspects of it, but it still takes a back seat because of how insane the special effects are. So, you know, you can have them both. It just is there. But yeah, Chris Wallace is the man in charge of the special effects. He's won the Academy Award for it. He had done the special effects for the Gremlins movies, worked on a bunch of other small stuff in the 80s, ended up directing The Fly 2, which is why The Fly 2 with Eric Stoltz. I hated it as a kid, but I saw it at a viewing at one of the Music Box of Horrors about like 6-7 years ago. It was like a 4 or 5 a.m. showing when I stayed the whole night for it. and completely flipped on it. I fucking love The Fly 2 now. Certainly nowhere as good as like this one in terms of story, but the special effects, Chris Wallace directing it and still doing the special effects, that is another absolute classic of, I think it's 1990, so kind of on the cusp, but special effects and practical effects classic. So won't talk too much about it. I do like that one quite a bit. But yeah, Chris Wallace is awesome. He also directed this great little movie, The Vagrant, starring Bill Paxton in the early 90s, which is basically like a Tales from the Crypt long form movie. I think his only other directing credit was a Tales from the Crypt vibe. So yeah, Chris Wallace, like not like a ton of credits, but like total bangers all throughout. So, but yeah, he's the man to credit with all the amazing special effects as you watch throughout the whole movie. But when it goes into hyperdrive in the last 20 minutes, when he's fully descending into the fly, I mean, some of these, that scene when he finally when he's dragging her to the pod and his like final human flesh is like falling off and it's just like a continual shot. It's just like stuff like that does just not exist in movies at all anymore to that level.
And it's terrifying.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I would love to see some behind the scenes stuff of that, like even if it's just photos, like I love that stuff just to see what that would have looked like in that room, because man, they really pull it off, Those
I know
eyes,
Yeah. I mean, I know I've seen like snippets of documentaries in the past, haven't watched anything recently. I know the DVD and the Blu-ray, so I can pull it out right now. This is actually my Shout Factory Fly collection.
Ooh, beautiful. As per usual. Always the art is so good.
Yeah, this is a great collection from Shout Factory. Nice hard case. Got all 5 of the movies, the 3 original Flies, Fly we're watching now, and then the Fly 2 with Eric Stoltz I just mentioned. And I know there are a lot of good behind the scenes special effects focused stuff for this movie.
Cool. So, and you just haven't watched you haven't gotten into those?
Not yet? Recently. I mean, I know I've seen them in the past, but I know there's a lot of good, really cool stuff showing how it's done. And like I said, I mean, I'll be saying it forever. It's just such a lost art. Practical effects of the 80s being the mainstream industry standard for horror movies.
Well, what did you think? I mean, we talked about it in The Substance. Do you think a lot of those were practical effects? I think so.
Yeah, I do remember there was a clear, I mean, you can tell practical effects. I mean, currently you can tell the difference. You just can't. This is like, you barely have to like mention it I mean, the eyes can still see if something's tactical, even if it looks like shit, you can still tell if something's tactical as opposed to CGI. So, and The Substance definitely did do a good amount of that. It's, one of the many reasons why we covered that immediately, because I love that movie. So
yeah.
I kept on seeing previews for it. It's on HBO Max now. So
yeah, they just added it. And my girlfriend's the same thing. She's like, "Should I see that?" I'm like, I know how you feel about that stuff. So enter at your own risk. But
right.
Well, it's a fantastic film. I know we both loved it.
I mean, if she wants my opinion, yes, you should watch it. But well,
I tell her she should watch all of them. But except for the Terrifier, I've said that before. Like, no. Like, I almost have to tell myself not to watch the Terrifier. I mean, that shit is fucking brutal, man.
Yeah, but I mean, isn't it kind of like comical violence?
I mean, yes, but it's still really, really brutal. I mean, it
is.
Like, I'm just saying, like stuff in the world that you're seeing on screen.
I don't know. I almost feel like something like this would be more terrifying to somebody who's squeamish, because it's less comical or less.
And it's flies, like you said. Everybody can relate to it, and then I would think for a woman who has to think about like potentially birthing a maggot, might be a little alarming to them. There's some. I mean, it's almost like psychologically fucked up, because if you really think about some movies like the Terrifier and stuff like that, as well done as they all are, you could possibly be like, well, it's a movie, But like when things like really enter your brain, though, like it's a tough place you can't get it out of there. It's like watching a true life thing about a ghost story. As soon as you turn the lights off, you're not like, the only thing you can think about is like, there's a fucking dude over there in the corner. He's coming to come out. He's going to strangle me tonight. Yeah. You can't stop thinking about it,
I forget. Are you pro those movies? Did you like the Terrifier movies? Or okay. You like
them. Yeah, I haven't seen the third one yet, because you still got to rent that everywhere you go. Or
I think I like the third one the most. I don't
Really?
I binged them all three. I don't think I saw the original like short anthology movie, but I've seen like all three of like the full Terrifier movies. I watched them all like within like a weekend when the third one came out, and I think I remember liking the third one the best.
I mean, the second one, or the one before the third one, superb.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I
like
remember- yeah.
they finally got to this place where like I think it's like the sweet spot. You know, it doesn't look low budget anymore. It's like, but it doesn't.
But it was
look
also
high.
like very comical. The third one,
Yes,
there was
yeah.
like a lot of really funny scenes. Like Damien Leone's the director. I forget the actor's name, but like
I
he's
think he
like
plays. Doesn't he play the Terrifier as well?
no, yeah, definitely not the same person. I know that because they were at that last horror convention I was at, and I know they're definitely different. But the lead actor playing Art the Clown gives like such classical Hollywood like silent era performance,
like Buster Keaton. Yeah,
yeah. So,
but I think that's
very
kind of the
talented,
fun of
so.
it. Like if
Right,
you think
totally.
about like how does like a horror movie bust through nowadays? You know what I mean? And it's absolutely that comedy mixed in with this absolute horror.
yeah,
And great characters. You know, like Art the Clown is like, okay, you think like I've seen everything I can with like a clown, but not like Art the Clown. You know.
also a very rare thing to have a horror icon. I mean, we got them all in the 80s, Freddy, Jason, Michael.
That's true.
And it's been so long since there's like a major horror icon breakthrough in its own franchise. So that's
You go to
it's
any
like kind of
Spirit
like-
Halloween, you got all of those Art the Clown stuff. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited for the fourth one. All right, back to The Fly. So he invents the teleporter. I like how this is just like a subtle character trait. It's like he's a scientist who's been working on teleportation. And in that early scene when he's driving back to his studio with Jeannie Davis, he's talking about how he has motion sickness. And he's like saying like, oh, I've just always had motion sickness. So it's just like this subtle little thing he's had this entire life, which has been the drive to invent a telepod. Invent a teleportation
Because of motion
machine,
sickness.
because of his own motion sickness. So it's never explored beyond that really, but like it's just like this small little thing. It's like, oh, makes sense that he's dedicated his life to this science.
I think the other successful part of this movie is that they do so much so quickly. I mean, right as you get into
Totally.
the film,
Yeah.
it's like this guy and this girl, they meet at this art gallery and now they're going home. He's a little drunk and he's going to show her. And then all of a sudden she wants to write about it because she's a reporter. Oh, you get all of these things that unwrap within like, I'd say like the first 15, 20 minutes of the film, which is a huge credit, I think, to anybody, whether it's the 80s or it is now. People just like want to get into this shit, you know, like I need to be invested in it. And you are very quickly in this film.
Yeah, just kind of like the stage play aspect of it. It's like you start watching it, there's no filler. It's just like kind of straight into the characters and like what's everything that's unfolding. So
Yeah.
Yeah, the slow descent. I like it. There's some fun scenes when he starts getting pissed off at Jeannie Davis, kind of kicks her out, and then he's going looking for his own girl to teleport with. And so when he's walking through New York with just the jacket that she bought him, it's just the jacket unzipped. So he's like, his chest is still popping out and eating candy bars and goes into a bar. It's just like, it's pure like Jeff Goldblum having fun being a scumbag when he's been like the nice guy for the first like half hour of the film. So,
I mean, and I don't know which came first, Over the Top or this film, but that's a great arm wrestling scene that we get to be privy to here.
is Over the Top good? I saw it one. I mean, I love that's
another film like
Sylvester Stallone, but like I've only seen it once, and I remember it not like it nearly as much as my favorite ones like Tango and Cash and whatnot. So I don't know.
it's another film that like I couldn't tell you the plot of the movie, but I've seen it probably like 10 times as a kid, you know, like Over the Top. And then the art, let's talk about the poster art. I mean, it's Stallone fucking arm wrestling. Like what else do you need? But
That's true.
Can I tell you if it's good or not? I don't know. I mean, you know, if you're listening and you love
I
Over
just
the
mean
Top, you let us know.
In terms of his, like, where does it stand next to like Cobra, for example?
Well, I don't think it touches Cobra, but it is in people's minds as like one of their favorite Stallone films. There's no doubt about that.
Okay. I'm going to give it another
But maybe
chance.
just for the fact that he's like he's a trucker who arm wrestles, you know, classic.
I just remember there was a great Norm Macdonald skit in the 90s when Sylvester Stallone hosted, and Norm Macdonald was in a car crash and he kept on trying to ask for help, but it always just led to him pointing out how many terrible movies Sylvester Stallone had. So
I gotta see that. Maybe you should put a link to that in our show notes.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to say, like, I think one of the parts to try to like make it a movie is that he has like a bad relationship with his son, and he's trying to like win over his son. So that's why he kind of enters like these like arm wrestling companies. His
son's like a highfalutin academic or something, totally opposite of like Stallone's character, right? Like he's like a snobby kind of kid. I remember that.
That's kind of what happens in Rocky Balboa. You know, it's like his son couldn't be any different from him. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Do we know if Stallone wrote that or not? I mean.
We're just going to assume Stallone has written everything because he kicks ass.
I mean, Tarantino in his book, if I recall right, was like really talking up Stallone and being like early on how great he was, and being like, maybe he'll finally stop doing this bullshit and write that film that he said he's going to do. Like, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Love it. So we mentioned in that maggot birthing scene, pretty gross. Cronenberg actually plays that gynecologist. So that's his little cameo in it. I remember seeing Gina Davis was like, I'm not really comfortable doing the scene unless you're going to be the actor doing it. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. So nice little cameo from him.
A little Easter egg.
I love the computer scenes when he's talking to the computer.
Oh, yeah.
When he's actually like finding out, like discovering what happened, like with the fusion, what's this other composite and what happened to the fly. It like totally aligns. It's exactly the same as like the computer scene with The Thing last episode, where it's like the computer with Wilford Brimley on the computer trying to figure out what happened. And I love that that's how computers were portrayed in the 80s, because computers still can't even do that now. AI is only an interpretation of what we give it. A computer still can't tell you like its own mind,
make up its own mind. Yeah.
And so the idea that it was happening in 1982 is even more fucking ridiculous, but that's just like so great about like what the perception of computers were in film, at least just for fun.
The perception. I love that. Or kind of like, there's always that little bit of like, you know, the danger of like letting that just take over. That's always been age old, you know, up until now. But I love that stuff. And I love, there's an interesting thing in this film that he's kind of talked about in the third person, or like he's talked about as like not even human. It's like it's just Brundle, but not even before that. It's just like the Brundle Museum or whatever. Like, you know, he's like a relic. He says the word, I'm a relic of the past and stuff like that. And that's interesting too, because when he goes to talk to the computer, once he's turned into the fly, it doesn't recognize his voice anymore. Really cool. Those are really cool things about it, you know, really cool writing to like talk about him as if his name is just Brundle. He's just like kind of an object.
He's losing his identity as a human.
Yeah.
Love that. The Brundle Fly Project. I saw that written there. I thought that was a great band name if somebody wants to use that. So.
Oh, really good. Yeah. It's also kind of like an acceptance with him, you know, like he becomes like, well, not like as soon as he realizes he's got these superpowers, but even past that, he's kind of like accepting that this is happening. He's like, this isn't so bad, you know.
He seems pretty scared at some parts. So,
well, at the beginning of it, but yeah, I think he kind of like he gets into that part where he's like happy with it, and then he's super scared. Yeah, it's up and down. At the beginning, he's like, "Yeah, I'm a superhuman." That's why he wants Gina Davis to go in. That's why he wants somebody else to go in. He's enjoying all of his powers. And then he starts realizing he's actually falling apart. Like there's that great scene in the bathroom when he's just by himself and he's pulling his fingernails off. So gross.
I know. I was the same. Like nail stuff is pretty fucking hardcore. And he's just falling off. He's squirting his finger shit on the mirror. So that's when he starts getting a little scared. And then, he almost kind of becomes his own like science project. Like he does start studying himself with a scientific brain, and then he starts really getting scared. That's when he calls Gina Davis at like near the end, like when he's basically hobbling and he's like basically like his ear falls off and he's like, she's like, why did you even call me? And like his only answer was like, I'm terrified. Like what's happening? Yeah. So that's like at his low, but then he starts basically just out of necessity, starts becoming more confident as this transformation goes on. And that's when he like discovers her pregnancy, and then he's like, well, fucking, I'm all in. You're gonna come with me, and you and me and the baby are gonna become the Brundlefly. So
Well, because he says about the baby, that's the only part of my humanity that's left. Like, you can't destroy it. Please don't destroy it. That was really interesting because he had that full recognition, that he's a full fly now, and the only thing that like will connect him to this world of humanity anymore is this baby that she's carrying inside of her.
Yeah. That's so that's Eric Stoltz in there, just FYI.
Yeah. Amazing.
Too fucking good. But yeah, I mean the ending. So like I still remember seeing it when I was a kid. When they get to the telepod, she gets out, John Getz saves the day and teleports with part of the telepod. So he just becomes like this mangled freak. He's got like the telepod like basically part of his body as he's the fly, and him pulling the shotgun like up to his head when Gina Davis is like holding it. I still remember that, like even as a kid, I was just like, this is fucking tragic. And like, it's still every single time I've watched it as an adult, it's like, it's so fucking sad. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's such this amazing tragedy, but you're still enamored with like how the movie looks and the special effects and all the terrible stuff going on. But it's like, it's so fucking sad to watch.
And when you're watching that, all you can think about too is like, there's a guy over here that just got like spit up on by a fly and has no leg and no hand, and he's holding the shotgun to shoot the fucking guy. Yeah. I mean, it is and like you said, the Howard Shore music is just kind of like, it's so good.
Dude, it's amazing.
Would you say that on the level of Cronenberg films, is this like one of his most famous, or?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say it's for like what he's most well known for.
Yeah,
I'd say so. Like I said, it was pretty successful in the 80s. So I'd say this was probably his most popular one. So
I shouldn't say famous, but most popular or most
recognized. Yeah, but it was just the movies that people think of first. Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, amongst cinephiles, obviously, something like Scanners or Videodrome might kind of pop up a little bit.
I mean,
more.
The Brood is great too. I think that's even before this,
That's way before it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about kind of it being still kind of like a stage play with 3 characters. I love the character names. Jeff Goldblum plays Seth Brundle. That's a great name. Gina Davis is playing Veronica Quaife, named they say Ronnie for kind of nickname, and then John Getz plays Stathis Borans, which I love that name.
It's really, but it's like great.
Every time like they say the name like of John Getz's character, Stathis Borans, it's like, I guess that's a name, but I mean it sounds awesome.
Never heard that before or since. Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like somebody who would be leading the Particle science magazine. So yeah, Seth Brundle, Veronica Quaife, and Stathis Borans. Like, how would you not want to watch a stage play about a man turning into fly with those 3 characters? So
yeah, well said. Yeah, perfect. But also at the end of the day, like you said, it's not like the original Fly, and I think nobody had really seen something like this, probably at the time it came out, and so all of that, even the names being different, it's like it just adds to it, it adds to it. You got the computers, you got the teleportation, some sci-fi, some horror, some Shakespearean play dynamics. I mean, those are all really good things to throw together.
It's a beauty of Cronenberg. I mean, maybe we could talk about a tiny bit more. I think I've mentioned, so shortly after this one is one of his underrated movies, Dead Ringers from 1988, with Jeremy Irons playing twin gynecologists, vying for like coming up with the best inventions in gynecology. So it's like this crazy psychological, slightly horror movie of Jeremy Irons playing twin gynecologist, and it's pretty iconic Cronenberg in terms of just being way the fuck out there and really entertaining.
Well, I've never seen it. I do believe it possibly is on there's a Cronenberg collection right now on Criterion.
So I know you said you watched this on Criterion. Is that so? I was curious on like what that collection was.
Well, it wasn't. Awesome. It wasn't for Cronenberg. The Cronenberg one I think was like last month or the month before, because he had another movie that just came out And so I think they were showcasing him for that. This is
Think
this
the
is
Shrouds.
yes, that's exactly it. Yeah, and this is part of the body horror collection.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
I'm still not all the way through that, but there's a lot of great films in there.
I do love The Brood.
Yeah.
I only saw that one for the first time a couple years ago, actually. Scanners, great. Videodrome, just going through Videodrome and Dead Zone, Stephen King adaptation in 83. That led to The Fly in 86. Dead Ringers, Naked Lunch, and Butterfly. Crash.
Damn.
About the people who get off from getting in car crashes. Sexual compulsion of getting in a car crash.
Remember, I think you talked about this last week, possibly. Yeah.
Existence, Spider I've never seen. And then that leads up to History of Violence, his 1-2 punch with Vigo, History of Violence and Easter Promises. So,
man, you got a lot of good films there. Actually, a pretty big filmography, you know?
Yeah, it's great. And I'm 100% just putting it together that so we can get into it. I don't know if there's any last thoughts. I've covered most everything on the movie that I wanted to talk about. Anything you wanted to talk about?
I would just say, like, you know,
stuff?
Speaking of video store, you know, vibes, this is what this podcast is really about, since you and I worked in a video store. But before that, when I used to go to the video store with my mom, or, you know, what are we going to rent? I always remember this box and the cover of this being on the shelf, you know, and I had never seen it, of course, but I always was like, "Ooh, that looks freaky." And it was always the pod, you know, was the box from what I remember, with like green glow coming out of it or whatever. Yeah. All I can say is I love this film. I mean, I really excited to see The Fly too. From what you say, and you like it.
I temper your expectations. As a story and like as a tragedy, nowhere near as close. So,
but it's kind of like Psycho 2. It's like you kind of love it just being in the universe, you know? Like
right.
Psycho 2, like, yeah. I liked Psycho 2 for that reason.
Yeah. I like Psycho 2 a lot closer to the original than you, but, you know, maybe that's a discussion for another day. But yeah, a little bit like that. But
or on the actual episode that we covered on Psycho 2.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was going to say when we talk about Psycho 3 eventually, so which is definitely.
I've been looking for it. It's not streaming anywhere, so that's why I haven't seen it yet. But I've been looking for it. Directed
by Anthony Perkins. It's great.
Yeah,
I love it. Yes, temper your expectations, but I do recommend watching Fly 2. But yes, this is a classic of my childhood, just like The Thing. And I think a great addition to, like I said, the 80s remakes of 50s movies. So very excited that we got to cover this. And like I said, like I'm curious and like how, like we were talking about, like it was a hit, but I'm not sure like how much it stayed in like kind of the zeitgeist. Be interested. I mean, Jeff almost feels like just Jeff Goldblum's persona is like more popular than a lot of his movies, because he's just
that's true.
He's become more of just like a character of himself. Not necessarily
one of my
friends,
but one of my friends directed him in like it used to be like this director's thing that he did a few years ago. Do you know the guy who did the Let's Go video? Mike Venezia did a lot of videos. Yeah, he had like a thing that he was doing basically on directors. It was like a thing for maybe Fox or something. Anyway, Jeff Goldblum was coming to set, and he said that the guy was just like a mile a minute, like exactly what you would think in real life. He's just like on all the time, and that doesn't surprise me. It just feels like that's just Jeff Goldblum, you
know. All right, yeah, love this movie. Very excited we got to cover it. Love to hear the comments.
Yeah, totally. Please let us know your thoughts on it. I love when people are talking to us and excited about the movies. We got a couple comments on The Thing, and it was like instantly love this, which we love. We always have our buddy Don commenting, which really goes a long way since he worked with us at Suncoast as well. And I love getting his comments, but I also
he's got all the insight that we need. So
yeah, kind of. It's like a lot of stuff I don't know. He's always like writing shit about stuff we're covering, and I love that. I love getting more information that we think we know it all, don't we? But you know, we don't really. I was going to
momentarily.
say, talking about Anthony Perkins, did you see The Monkey? Did we talk about that?
I have not seen The Monkey. I just got to catch up with Osgood's
He's got
filmography.
another film coming out real soon
Yeah.
too. Yeah,
That's because I didn't see the Nick Cage one.
Long Legs.
I didn't see Long Legs or Monkey. The way people talk about these movies really makes me want to see them because they're polarizing. Because like a lot of people really love them and a lot of people really dislike them, largely because of the tone. I guess largely speaking about The Monkey, there's a lot of people who just really did not vibe with the tone of the movie, but a lot of people really liked it. So those are always the movies that I want to watch first, the ones that kind of have the stronger opinions. So
yeah, I've seen both. Long Legs at the Vista, and
Nice.
I loved it. And then, it's different. They're different films, of course. And I think The Monkey is a remake of The Monkey Shines, maybe the original, like Stephen King. Excuse me, I could be wrong.
I know it is. I mean, I know it's based on a Stephen King story. But yeah, I don't know if Monkey Shines was also based on that story.
Monkey Shines is another film that I remember seeing that box in the video
Yes,
store. You know what I'm talking about? The
Monkey Shines and Peter Jackson's Dead Alive with the lips.
Totally.
Those are the two that I always stuck out with me when I was a kid. I was like, I didn't see either of them until like high school, but like those, I have vivid memories of the VHS boxes for those.
You're so right about that Peter Jackson one. But anyway, yeah, I think The Monkey, like the deaths in that are like worth the price of admission alone. They're just like, they're
Nice.
almost like kind of like hysterical, but like, and
Yes.
unexpected.
So that's why I want to, I mean, the
Out of the
comedic
movie.
aspect, that's why I want to see it more. So
Yeah.
I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
So one little segue, maybe sticking a little bit with Cronenberg. So this weekend is the Music Box of Horrors that I mentioned previously. So they have it every year. So the 24 hours, there's no way I'm going to do 24 hours, but I am going to make it for the midnight showing of the Suncoast Classic, Jason X. So very excited for that to be right in the middle of the 24 hours. I'm looking at the schedule right now, 12:15 actually. So I'll get there around midnight. This was a favorite of ours back in the day because of how ridiculous the movie is. And we just love Friday the 13th in general. But it literally just dawned on me just a couple minutes ago that Cronenberg has a cameo in Jason X. And I totally forgot about it. Yeah. Because it was a total Canadian production. You know, that was kind of like when the rights for Friday the 13th were up in the air and kind of got tossed around. They're still in limbo, but they've been back and forth. And it was a Canadian production. And I know Cronenberg was at least somebody who was doing stuff to push it forward, to like get it made. And so he has a cameo as the doctor who basically freezes Jason at the beginning. So.
I remember that. I didn't know it was him, but now I totally remember that part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
This is
putting that together, that's a movie we're going to be watching, but then we've been talking about Cronenberg all day. So I love that. So
do you know some of the other, not to get off of it because of Jason X, we could talk about forever. Jason Voorhees Born.
There you go. Got it. Nailed it.
Because Born Identity was out at the same year, I guess. But one thing I wanted to say about that is the Music Box of Horrors. Do you know the lineup? Is the full lineup released?
Yeah. I mean, I got it right here. They've been going really fucking obscure, like the last couple of years. Not necessarily like a bad thing, but there's a lot of movies that I've never heard of. So I can go down the list right now if you want.
I mean, I'm sure whoever's listening can check it out on their website. So no need. I just didn't know if there's anything else you were excited to see over there.
I mean, if it's showing at the Music Box for the Music Box of Horrors, obviously it's worth watching because the programming is great, but it's just a lot of stuff that I've never heard of. Some 90s stuff, Inferno, they are playing It's Alive 3, and then Paranormal Activity 3, and then Hellraiser Bloodline. So that's like the second half of the late night series. And then they always leave it with something goofier. Ernest Scared Stupid was a great one year, but this the last movie they show is Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy. So I'm not sure how down you are with the Abbott and Costello movies being I've never really been a huge fan, but yeah, I appreciate them,
Cool. Well, that's great. I couldn't be more curated for you. Midnight Jason X, at one of the best theaters in the world.
we'll see. I got a couple friends they'll be trying to do the 24 hours. So be able to see where they're at, see how far they get into it, and get the updates on the movies that I missed from.
How do you like the new sound system in there?
I mean, good. I mean, I haven't, it's never been, it hasn't been anything that's like stood out to me, I guess. Maybe that's just me being a dummy. So I don't know. Or
I mean,
not,
me either.
not having like a classically trained audio ears. I've always been I need to be pushed to be able to see or recognize differences, and that's just my own deficiency, I guess. When it comes to
not really.
When it comes to like audio stuff and screen quality.
Also, if you're going to see a lot of movies that aren't, brand new movies or whatever, I'm sure you're not noticing a ton of difference, But I noticed that the music box posted they have like a whole new audio system in that main theater. So
it does still have the vintage vibe, but between the new seats last year and then the new audio, I mean, it definitely does feel a little bit more updated for sure.
Yeah,
in a good way. So
yeah.
I mean, when we saw Vertigo there, I guess that was with the new seats, but yeah, I guess not the new sound system yet. So, and I remember that being amazing. So
yeah, about a year ago.
Cool. We already mentioned our countdown to Avatar. Excited for that. Anything else you've been watching? I have not been watching a lot. Just been kind of rewatching a few small things and then enjoying the Halloween weather. It's nice and gray out in this October morning right now. It feels like the opening credits of Halloween 4, which are the best credits
so great.
Of all time. Just capturing
5
the vibe.
Is pretty good too that way.
The opening credits?
Yeah.
Or just the vibe overall? The vibe overall, but yeah, those specifically opening credits to Halloween 4, where it's just like the scenes of the gray kind of Haddonfield fields. It's like nothing feels like Halloween more than that. So it kind of feels like that today. So
666, although 666 a little more shiny because it also opens with Mr. Sandman.
Oh yeah.
All right, but yeah, 4 and 5 are kind of the same movie in my mind, just because they kind of deal with the same subject matter, and it's like a continuation of The Little Girl.
With Jamie in it, yeah.
Have I been watching anything? Yes, I have. Speaking of great soundtracks, I watched They Live. With the John Carpenter curated list is fucking popping off hard on Criterion. You got to get you some of that. And then hearing you talk, I don't need to talk about They Live. We love it. It's so fucking good. And so both movies that I'm about to talk about are so timely for the times we're living in. I couldn't believe how timely They Live was. And then also you were mentioning how much you loved watching Snake Plissken surf with Steve Buscemi. So I had to watch Escape from LA.
Oh,
and boy, did I enjoy that. I will tell you.
Love to hear it. Hear it.
I've seen it before, but not, hearing you talk about it made me like excited. It's been a while.
Yeah.
And I had a couple of takeaways just quickly. One, the special effects are so bad in such a good way.
The worst special effects of the 90s by far.
And it's kind of like it's kind of in a little bit kind of what the fuck. Because like the technology was there, but also, hearing that Kurt Russell helped write it and produce it. And then also like Kurt Russell at kind of his most badass. He's fucking jacked, man. He looks great. They have him in like a cool outfit, but I kind of disagree with you only for him as an actor. He's not a Jack Burton. He's very subdued. And I was surprised at that, the movie, of course, is got its goofy moments, but him as an actor. So I can see what you're saying. Just like if you're going to look at Escape from New York and Escape from LA, the LA is definitely more whimsical and has that kind of, I don't know if that's the right word, but you know what I mean? Like that kind of tongue in cheek humor.
Right.
Yeah. And of course, like you can't beat Kurt Russell. He's just so fucking good. And I was watching that movie with like the lens of like, they'll never make movies like this anymore. Like It's just like it's almost like daring to think that they
Not
even
intentionally, ironically, or as like a nostalgia for sure. That'll always happen as one-offs, but like
Yeah.
that being kind of like a mainstream kind of movie that a genre filmmaker was making. You're right. That it just won't happen like that anymore. So, but also,
because you think if it wasn't him, if it wasn't John Carpenter, you probably would laugh at that film. People would be like, "What is this? Is a joke? Why are you making this movie? Like this hang glider thing is like clearly green screen. Like, you know."
Yeah, context matters for sure, but at the same time, even if that was a standalone movie, it would still have its defenders because it's so genuine. So,
right.
Love that you watched that. Yeah. So yeah, him meeting up with Peter Fonda, and then the surf music starts. I mean, it's just so stupid, but it's so fucking amazing. Peter Fonda's like so hilarious. He's just like the surfer hippie guy.
It is kind of cool with the casting
up with
too. Like,
Steve
what
Buscemi.
the fuck? You know, like you got this like iconic Peter Fonda, showing up.
I mean,
surfer.
Carpenter doing it while Tarantino was like starting to do it, casting old school. I mean, so Pam Grier shows up as the transgender character.
She's great in it.
Yeah,
too.
she's awesome.
Yeah.
And this was a year before Jackie Brown. And that's why Carpenter's always been like one of Tarantino's favorites. It's kind of like he's just kind of got that same like vibe of like doing his own genre movies and then casting new people, but also casting classic actors that he's loved.
I mean, Lee Van Cleef too, and like
in the original, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Stacy Keach. Let me ask you this. I'm sure you did, but maybe in case you didn't.
You're gonna go Bruce Campbell. I mean,
okay, I was gonna say because he looks so fucking different. I totally get it. Like if somebody didn't recognize that's Bruce Campbell.
The character is excellent, and like the poking fun at LA.
What a pretty blue eye. Too bad there's only one.
Yeah, the poking fun at LA stuff is just so perfect too. Yeah.
And I remember hearing him talk about it. It's like, the original movies in New York. This is me going to be busting up the balls of LA lifestyle nonstop. And so that's why you have those asides of like the basketball, the cosmetic stuff. It's so good.
Like seeing Snake Plissken fucking dribbling a basketball is maybe one of the most absurd moments in that film, and there's a ton of absurd moments in that film.
I mean, you're just naming why I love it so much. So yeah, but yeah, you're right. His character is not goofy like Big Trouble in China, but the direction compared to New York is definitely more over the top.
Yeah, and I almost felt like Snake was like a little bit more like beaten down in this film. He wasn't as like Escape from New York.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then we'll talk about the ending in a second. But comparing it to like Big Trouble in Little China's character, I was just thinking recently, it's like I love how one of the best parts of Big Trouble in Little China is that and I'm not the first person to point this out, but like he's the lead, he's the hero. But he's always the stupidest guy in the room. He's always the one who knows the least. He's always the one who's like kind of fucking shit up. But
that's
he's
why we love him.
Hero,
that's why we love that character. Right. It's like well written, and who better to play it than Kurt fucking Russell? But
that's like Carpenter in the mid '80s already subverting like the action hero lead archetype. Where he's like, he's the hero, but he's also going to be the stupidest guy in the room every single scene. So
kind of feel invincible, lines like that.
Love it.
Yeah. Also, like kind of like whenever like the kind of like gang members show up in any like John Carpenter movies, it's always like this like weird mix of races and stuff. Like the movie is just like a stamp. It's John Carpenter. Interesting that the guy is so known for Halloween, which is just like it's so interesting where he went from that, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. I love the ending of Escape from LA. Just where that movie goes with the switch scene. We're
gonna like level the playing field here. You get the hologram of him, right? And then
he's Snake shutting down the world with that. I mean, if you haven't seen it, he's got it's 1996 technology. It's basically this little iPhone that can shut down technology in whatever space you want. So a city, whatever. Snake ends up shutting down the entire world, sending him back to the dark ages, as Stacy Keach says. But it's like, it's so well done. I love the score near the end. I mean, the whole score of the movie, it's like this synth Western vibe, and it so captures Snake well. So watching him shut down the whole world, it's just like such a fuck you type ending, like in not like
and
an
that
ironic
Western
way.
close up on him lighting
Totally.
the cigarette,
Yeah.
that's it's beautiful. Well done. Yeah.
So good. Love it. And then my last point, we mentioned the last episode, Ghost of Mars, which I don't think
it's on there. It's on Criterion. Nice. Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that Ghost of Mars was actually a repurposed Escape from script. It was supposed to be the third movie. It was supposed to be Escape from Mars with Snake Plissken. And when Escape from LA didn't do that well, it was basically they just repurposed the script and turned it into its own standalone movie. So you do get a little, and you can see that with like some of the characters of him. They're transporting the outlaw to Mars, and then they kind of get attacked, kind of like a Assault on Precinct 13 style vibe. And yeah, like the whole movie, you could 100% see Snake just be in this and then having to fight his way out through these aliens on Mars with the vibe.
Terrific. So. I mean, I know I've heard it's not great, but I'm gonna watch it. I mean,
it isn't great, anyway. But it's great to watch as a Carpenter fan for sure. So
yeah.
Cool. Well, that's all I got on Escape from LA. That's very exciting that you watched that. I'm definitely going to have to.
I think I told you like the last week before that I watched the new Conjuring, which was cool, just in general for it being in. So I watched that. We watched the I Know What You Did Last Summer, like 1 and 2, the originals. 2 is such a piece of shit movie. Absolute fucking dumpster.
Is that the one with Jack Black?
Yes.
Okay, nice.
Jack Black.
I remember being ambivalent about that one back in the day because I was always okay with the original. I liked it enough.
Yeah, the original is cool. Like I like the original. But the sequels, it's just that's a pile of shit. It's terrible.
There was the new one. I was going to go see it, but I didn't make it out. There was one out this year.
It's getting added tomorrow to Netflix, and I will see it.
Nice.
Yeah, but we were kind of watching those because I think my girlfriend likes the soundtracks. She had the soundtracks and she was reminiscent about that. That's a cool thing about the 90s. They do have like this reminiscent vibe for us because that was kind of like our coming of age stuff,
Yeah.
And then I know I'm probably missing one here. I just wanted to say, I've talked about it before, but I love the House of Wax movies, all of them, all 3. It's almost like we should cover those at some point, maybe even if it's next Halloween, but
never seen any of them.
Oh, dude, they're great. Yeah. The first one, Michael Curtiz, Casablanca fame. And it's like in this weird Technicolor, like kind of new Technicolor process, and it just looks super eerie and cool. Then there is a remake of it in the 50s with Vincent Price. And I'm sure I've talked about this before. But even the 2005 version that came out with Paris Hilton and stuff, really good. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Houses of Wax stuff. I'm going to do that marathon as per usual. I'm clearly going to get into the Rob Zombie Halloweens, which I love. We're still going here. We got a lot of, we got 15 days until to Halloween. And I plan on really packing them in.
Yeah. Halloween 2 is an absolute priority. Last time I was talking to you about this, watching those movies, the idea that I was even considering thinking about putting it above the original, not that I would in my ranking, but the idea that my brain even thought about it is just like a huge testament to how much I fucking love Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
It's fucking crazy, dude, because there are people that absolutely hate these films. And I've even heard, I think, John Carpenter himself. Like,
it's turning, though. There are a lot of people who really defend those movies now more than ever. And you and I saw those in the theater, so we've seen people shitting on them ever since. And there's a big difference now.
It's a big franchise to like come up against. People are so programmed in their brain with the original. Right. It's like it wasn't really trying to be the original. But it
not at all.
Yeah. Like you said, I love Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2. Both is almost on par with the original. So fuck you all.
There's a lot of people who are on our side now, so they've been listening to our gospel. So, and then I'm going to be watching Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends, both of also which, especially Halloween Ends. That one I hear people absolutely love now all the time. People always kind of point out that they absolutely love that movie, and I
loved it when I saw it.
That's had a shorter turnaround than the Rob Zombie movies because that one was also like derided when it came out just a couple of years ago.
Dude, it's asking a lot of the people that like that franchise, if you ask me, to really introduce a new part of the story, kind of. So sometimes you're just like, well, for a while before the Rob Zombie ones, at least you were just kind of like Michael Myers is here to kill. It's like not really too much story driven.
Yeah.
Other than like trying to blind them together. But
I mean, that's the thing with horror movies in general. Horror always ages well because of the aesthetics, but especially like franchise movies always age well because I shouldn't always say well, but the ones that do something different are usually hated when they first come out. And then, people come around to it once they kind of get an understanding of like where it's going and that it's not exactly the same of what they were expecting. So that's the thing with like Friday the 13th movies. I mean, so many of them are like hated when they came out, and then, they're revered as classics now. Especially Freddy versus Jason has been getting so much traction because, I mean, I've always loved Freddy versus Jason. I think that was
in the theater.
I was going to say, I think that was a group movie we watched at one night after Suncoast working, and kind of, I mean, it was box office popular, but like, it wasn't anything anybody thought was special. And it's like people often put that near the top of both franchises now. So, which I'd love to hear. So,
I mean, I love it. It gives you everything you want Freddy versus Jason to be.
Yeah. It's also just a beautiful relic of 2003, early 2000 with the new metal
CGI
soundtrack.
stuff,
the new metal soundtrack is so ridiculous and such a beautiful time capsule. I love it.
Yeah. I remember on that DVD, like you could like skip the kills. Like it was like go to the chapters where the kills are. That ridiculous,
I love it. Somebody wearing a Jackass shirt was in their apartment watching Freddy versus Jason. I'm going to do this kill skip version of this movie. So.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. It was probably you, to be honest with you. Really great. Boy. I love this time of year. Everybody does. That's a horror fan. There's a lot to bite into, and I love that there are streamers out there that are really curating this stuff really well. I mean, even HBO Max, I feel like, has curated a pretty good list. They've got all the Conjurings on there. They got newer movies like Sinners on there, like you said, The Substance, and then also like some older films too, like the House of Wax films. I believe you can view on HBO Max. So,
fuck yeah. I cry about. I don't actually cry about it. I deride streaming sometimes, but when you supplement streaming with physical media, it's fucking great.
Oh, totally. And I mean, I'm a big proponent of like ease off, like only pick your favorites, like Criterion will always be on that. And they've really done a good job since I've had it in 2018 when it came out, to really just always have something for me as a cinephile. So I feel like as a streamer, just go. I have Netflix because I can't really get rid of it because my brother and his son use it. So I'm like, I'll be the shitty uncle if I get rid of it. But I wouldn't have that if it wasn't for that. And that's the only other one I have that I pay for.
Yeah, don't be that uncle.
No, can't be.
All right, let's move into music. If you're cool, we could stick with the horror movies, actually.
Yeah, I just want to say really quick, one other thing that I'm doing is watching baseball, which is always hard because when the teams that you like are in October, you're watching baseball because you can't fucking not. And if you're a fan of baseball like myself, the Cubs just lost, so that sucked. But then the Dodgers are up 2 games in the NLCS, which is great because like I'm a Dodgers fan now here living in LA, but it does cut into your scary movie time. So that's all I wanted to say. Nice. It's like a blessing and a curse. For me.
Are the Dodgers playing? Well, who's Milwaukee playing? Milwaukee.
Well, yeah, the Brewers beat Chicago, and now they've had 2 games in Milwaukee that they've lost to the Dodgers. So they'll come back. The Dodgers are playing Milwaukee. Gotcha. Yeah, they'll come back and play in here in LA. And yeah, if they win, the best out of 4 right now, if they win all 4 of these, they go to the World Series then, Well, anyway, didn't mean to cut you off. Let's talk about music.
Yeah, stick with the horror movies. So my pick this week is actually inspired by yours last week, Philip Glass. So Philip Glass did one of my favorite horror movie scores of all time. It's a score that actually is a great example of like a good horror movie that has turned into a fucking amazing horror movie because of the score. And that's Candyman. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What did you think I was going to say?
Well, no, I mean, I just didn't really realize Philip Glass did the score to that.
Yeah, it's fucking beautiful. So the last time I saw Candyman a couple of years ago, actually at the Gene Siskel that we've been to a couple of times, they showed it there, emphasizing the Philip Glass score. it's such a fucking masterpiece. Like, it is classically beautiful and horrific score. And like, you having the Dracula soundtrack last week, I would listen to that whole thing. It's amazing, because that's one I was really not too much on my radar. And like I said,
think I told you kind of a semi fuck you for doing that, though, because I told you I wanted you to listen to that with the Dracula like visuals before you actually listen to the whole soundtrack. But that's okay.
I'll get to it around somewhere. It's not going to, yeah.
I wanted your first experience to be with the movie. I guess that's like
fair enough.
Wishful thinking. Yeah, but anyway, it is. But yeah, I know you love this kind of music too. So I'm kidding, but
Yeah, no, for sure. But it was always you, Helen, is the composition I'm picking. But yeah, Philip Glass doing that score. It really, like, I like Candyman a lot. Like, it's a good movie, but like the score just like turns it into like a 90s classic totally, because of just the vibe and the aesthetics and the overall feeling that it adds to the movie. It's so fucking good. What's your experience with Candyman? Because it's not one that I actually saw as a kid. I only saw it for the first time maybe 10 years ago.
I'd say agreed. I probably more than 10 years ago I've seen it, and yes, love it. I saw the remake that Jordan Peele.
So I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's okay. But I do love Candyman. I love that actor. He just passed away. Yeah, and he was in Tony Todd. Tony Todd, and he was in all of the Final Destination films. Great career.
He was in the one that just came out.
Yeah, and I think that was his last.
Yeah, I think it was like his last
role. But also supposedly taking place Cabrini Green, which we know of in Chicago. So it's got a close connection to our Chicago roots.
Yeah. I know Tony Todd and Virginia Madsen. They're so good together. Like this creepy ass relationship, this haunted relationship, and they're just like amazing together. But then, when you add that with the score, it's so great.
I was gonna say I have to watch it again with the score in mind, because that's something I guess I wasn't really aware of.
I mean, with your appreciation with the Dracula stuff, I think you'll get a lot out of it. So
Philip Glass also did the score to another movie that I think like had a bit of a miss with the twist of the film, but I liked it. The Johnny Depp, like, it was based on a short story by Stephen King. That Johnny Depp film,
Secret Window.
Yes, Philip Glass did the score to that, which it's really good too.
Nice.
Yeah,
I saw that in the theater. I don't think I've ever seen it since. Don't remember the score at all. So
yeah,
I remember him making corn. That's all I kind of remember from that movie.
Yeah, there's some weird parts in it, but it's got a lot of promise, but there's a couple misses in it. But the score is awesome.
Nice, hell yeah, kick ass. All right, what are you listening to?
So I just realized it's Halloween time. And as a younger man,
it's on a Friday this year. I just realized. That's pretty kick-ass.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. As a younger man, I would always gear up to do a show with my band, and a lot of times you'd dress up and say, "We're going to do X, Y, and Z cover band, and it's going to be fun." We've done a bunch over the years. We did full records, did Screeching Weasel records, how to make. No, actually, I think we did Wiggle one year, which is crazy, and then. All of these different bands, Ramones have done. But my favorite one, when I was like just starting out in music, we did a Misfits cover show. And we built a coffin. I came out in the coffin, had the show, was just so fucking cool. The vibes were great. And ever since doing that, I mean, I always loved the Misfits, but I realized on this podcast, every year I think about them because there's just such a great, like, Halloween soundtrack, punk rock, and Misfits are themed that way. And I was like, we don't have any Misfits on our playlist at all, which is kind of weird. That none of us have added that. So I was thinking Vampira, man. I think we love Vampira. It's such a great song. There's that classic photo of them with Vampira, and the song is just fun.
Fuck yeah, love it. Which album was that on? Yeah.
I believe that's on Walk Among Us.
Kick ass. Yeah, I caught them at Riot. One of the first times when they're reunited.
2016, I think, right?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
When it was a big deal. So love the Misfits. I've always been more of a Cramps person myself. Cramps is arguably one of my favorite. Like
just like a Cramps and fucking Morrissey and Robert Smith. I know you and I are.
The
spectrum.
When it comes to the Cramps, it's not like you pit them against or anything, but as a horror rockabilly punk band, the Cramps was just always. I fucking love the Cramps so much. So I'm actually, I might have to actually I should just add the Human Fly song to this episode.
Yeah,
it would be appropriate.
That sounds right. Yeah, it sounds like it would fit right in.
Maybe I'll just throw that on the soundtrack as well, just as a bonus.
Why not?
Because you're right. I don't think we have any Cramps either. So might as well just do the two great horror rock bands.
I'm into that. Yep. So. Let's do it.
Fuck yeah. You've seen the Misfits or no? Ever seen them perform?
Yeah, like I said, I believe I was at the same Riot Fest as you in 2000.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's the only time. It was cool. Danzig, man, what a force, It's like, I feel like that guy's like an immovable wall or something. And he was fast. He was running around. I was like, holy shit.
He's a sturdy man for sure. So
yeah, sturdy man. That's a good way to say it. Have you seen or heard, have you heard 2 years ago, I think, maybe around Halloween, he released like his batch of him like covering Elvis songs?
Oh.
No, you'll love it, dude. You got to look it up. I think it's like just called Danzig Sings Elvis. It's amazing.
I've also always. Oh, that sounds fucking amazing. That'd be perfect soundtrack for the rest of the day for me. So, I've always been interested in watching his movies as well. I don't know how many full length horror movies he's got. Necromantic, something along those lines.
I'm not aware.
As his directed movie. I've never heard anybody actually say it's anything great, but I'm just to watch a Danzig directed horror movie. I've always meant to watch it. So
yeah, like you have to kind of.
Yeah, a little bit. So cool. Long live Misfits and the Cramps and Philip Glass. So
we talked about a lot of great creative people and minds in this episode, and that's what we're here for, man. Just the fucking weirdos and the crazy people in this world that are making it fun.
This is our time of the year, so. Mm-hmm. Took a few minutes for me to get started earlier in your.
Yeah, sorry about that. We're going we're going like the Play My Teaser in town, and there's practicing for the When We Were Young stuff. So I got a little work going on with them, and then we're doing When We Were Young fest in Vegas. So there's just a lot going on this week to try to get ready for everything, get work done. So I appreciate you pushing the time up and be considerate. Pat and I had this kind of pact, and it's worked really well. I feel like that we were going to keep a time. I was always moving shit, and we'd be like, oh, do you want to do it on Thursday? Do you want to do it on Tuesday? All of the suggestions you've had for this podcast have been great. Let's not talk about like, self-help shit and blah, blah. It's like, you seem to always know how to commandeer this the right way, and it's worked really well. So I appreciate you. This is the first time we've kind of got away from that schedule and did it earlier, but I just didn't want to let go since October and the way these movies are going. I didn't want to miss it. So this was. We
unintentionally locked ourselves into the schedule for this month by announcing all three movies. So
yeah, that's okay.
We'll try not to do that too much.
I like how
but yeah,
we don't really curate like this too much. So if you're listening and you listen this far, these are like a kind of like a nice trifecta and 80s horror movies based off of originals.
Hell yeah. I think it's working so far. So, but yeah, I'm excited. So I'm going to rewatch the original Blob because I haven't seen that one in a long time. And I know you like that one quite a bit. And so this is going to be your first watch of the 80s Blob. And like I said, the 80s Blob is one I've loved ever since I was a kid. So
yeah, I'm excited to see the 80s Blob. I mean, I kind of can't believe I haven't seen it yet, but it's, the excitement for me to see it for the first time and get to talk to you about it.
A young Kevin Dillon.
Ooh,
the younger Dylan brother in an early role for him. So he's got a great mullet in the movie. He's a great 80s badass in this movie. So
what's the show that he's really
he's an Entourage.
That's right. Yeah. That's what he's mostly known for. I'd imagine
Johnny Drama, I think was his
Johnny
name.
Drama. That's it. Yeah.
So playing a prototype of his younger Dylan brother type character. So so it'll be fun to see him fight alien blob. Good times. Frank Darabont script, so kind of early work for him. So you'll recognize a couple Darabont faces, and we'll discuss those connections with his.
One Darabont film I want to rewatch is called The Majestic with Jim Carrey. It didn't get a lot of love when it came out, and I saw it in the theater, but I kind of want to do a rewatch of that.
Did he direct that?
He might have directed it too. I think he wrote it and directed it. I could be wrong. I have to double check that.
It's all The Mist for me. So, I mean, obviously, like, you know, his 3 Stephen King, it's like Shawshank, Green Mile, and then The Mist, and then Walking Dead.
Well, right. And a lot of people don't know that because he was kind of kicked off of that show, but he started that.
But in hindsight, he's like, yeah, I'm responsible for all the good stuff in Walking Dead. And the fact that those show went on for 37 years.
Yeah, what's like, still going with some fucked up universes that I can't keep track of.
It's almost like as time passes, he's like, yeah, I'm responsible for kicking off a great show and for when it was really good and everybody loved it, and then I parted ways. So
I would imagine still making a fuck ton of money on it too. So, you know, all's well that ends well.
Yeah, I wonder how that works. All right, excited for The Blob. Thank you for indulging me with The Fly. Glad you liked it. Also, our talks on Escape from LA. Sounds like we've been watching lots of kick-ass movies this October. So, well,
you're absolutely right. And hey, have a great rest of your long day ahead, my friend.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. This great weather. Now I'm feeling a little bit of Danzig Elvis vibe. So,
let me know what you think.
Will do. All right, brother. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. Bye.